Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you. I know some of you from schools visits that I did recently, okay, like Marisol. It's nice to see you again, okay, and some other teachers
Sí,
from
ya les pasé, me entregó el cuaderno ayer
many
cuando andaba
years
bien.
that I know. Welcome to every one of you. This is the third meeting for English teachers and the last one for this school year. I would like to make some announcements right now for you. The first announcement that I have for you is that every 40 minutes, the Zoom will be cut off, and then we will join again 1 minute after with the same password and the same ID number, okay? You just have to put it again because this is a new package for Zoom from Zoom. It's not the premium one, it's different one. So this is how we're gonna work in this session. Every 40 minutes, we cut the meeting, and again, 1 minute after, we connect ourselves again, okay? Same ID and same password. Another thing, another brief announcement that I have to make is that the attendance list will be on my last slide. And for the persons who cannot be present in this session right now, you will have the opportunity to see this meeting on YouTube Redais Nuevo León. And you have until March, the last day of March, to see the video, this meeting, and you can do your attendance there, okay? You can register your attendance, all right? Using the last slide where there's a QR code and you check your attendance there, okay? Using the QR code, okay? Remember, we will have it on our last slide. Giving that information, we have a giveaway also, but these things are physical. There are 3 dominoes that I'm gonna give away, but you have to answer some questions, okay? You have to answer some questions in the chat. If you get it correct, you are the winner. And you can come here to the departamento, to the Coordinación de Secundarias, and with your name. You don't need the ID, but with your name, you can collect your prize, okay? So let me share the screen so we can start with our presentation right now. Okay, I think you see already my screen, okay? Okay, there we go. It's done. So welcome to the third meeting for English teachers on this March the 10th. I hope everyone is doing okay and is in good health, you as well as your family, okay? Let me pass to our next slides. What are the purpose of the meeting? Is to revise the achievement of this last term and to share some ideas how you may approach them with your students. Another thing we would like to share is some important ideas to take into account when reading a text in the classroom, any kind of text. It could be a dialogue, 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, a story from the reading book, etc. Okay. I'm gonna give first grade, and Ms. Silvia Chavez Palacios is going to guide you in second grade. Third grade will be available for you in the presentation. Ms. Berta is on sick leave right now, and I hope she recovers very, very soon. So for this term, we suggested in the content distribution 3 social learning environments and 3 social practices of the language. The itinerary, which is right here. Read comic strips to discuss a cultural expressions, which is a discussion, the product, and to present information about linguistic diversity. Diversity or diversity, it depends on what type of English you're speaking, if it's British English or American English, all right? And we have 12 weeks until the 3rd week of June. You have that information in the calendarización that was given from Secundaria, la Dirección de Secundarias, to your supervisors, inspectors, and principals. And it says right there in the calendar that by the 3rd week of June, you will have to report your averages and the closing things that you have to give to the school. That's what it says in the calendar that was given by Ms. Daria Elizondo, all right? So since we started, some of you started exams last week. Some of you are studying exams for the 2nd term this week. So we have there's a new code and a new, okay. I'm very sorry. Could you, okay. In the chat box, we're gonna put a new code and our new ID number. So please write it down. So for the 2nd session, where Ms. Sylvia takes participation, please write the code number and the ID number and the password, all right? This will be given to you in the chat box, okay? So if you don't get to copy it right now, you can do it in the chat box. You will have it in the chat box. I'm very sorry, and I apologize sincerely. This was given to me right now. Okay? All right. So let's go on. So I was telling you that we have 12 weeks from today, well, next week, because today is over practically, okay? From next week to the 3rd of June, we have 12 weeks. Now, in the 12 weeks, we have 36 classes. 12 weeks, 36 classes, and we have, as you can see right here in the, I'm sorry. As you can see right here, we have 12 achievements, 4 from the itinerary, 3 from the comic strip discussion, and we have 4 more achievements for the academic and formative. Now, I am going to, so you take into account the time lapse we have, the context that your students are, okay, what you have seen, their abilities, and then distribute the contents that best suits your needs and the needs of your students, okay? That's very important. Right now, although the order is itinerary, discussion, comic strips, and oral presentation, I'm gonna start with the social practice of the language to present information about linguistic diversity. And why am I starting this for the first, although it's in the 3rd place, but I'm gonna start with it firstly, because I think this can give us a lot of help when we as teachers start next school year, 1st grade, with the 2022 program, okay? Remember that it's gonna begin, the new program is gonna begin, we're going to apply it next year, And I think these ideas that I'm going to share with you about the presentation of information about linguistic diversity is going to help you a lot to organize the stuff you have to do for next school year, okay? So let me start. What am I going to do right here? Well, the present information about linguistic diversity. My first achievement is select information. How can I work with my students so they can reach select information, this achievement? Okay, we have to give enough time to our students to reflect. First of all, make the questions that will guide their research for information. This is very, very important. Our students have to make at least 4 or 5 questions. They have to research, to investigate, and look for that information of the topic they select, okay? In this case, it's about linguistic diversity. But for next school year and the next program, that will be for the project that you are going to make. First, if they have to go and look for information, write the questions they need to look for that information. Help your students make the right questions to look for information and not to diverse in another information that is not useful, okay? Make them focus on that information, on clear information, precise and not vague, okay? Another thing that we have to, for the students to achieve select information is to make clear the criteria. What is the right source to pick up when we are looking for information to do our research? What kind of .edu, .com, .org can we look for, okay? Which is more reliable, a .com or a .edu, a .com or a .org, okay? So the students have to take this into account when selecting information, reliable information they are going to give to the public, to the students, to their parents, because they can give this information also to their parents, okay, as well. Another thing they have to do to achieve their achievement, select information, is to assess the function of textual components. What do I mean with textual components? Well, you see it right there on the arrows I have. The textual components are the index, the heading, the glossary, the footnotes, the bibliography, the, let me see, titles and subtitles are also part of textual components, all right? And we have to make our students aware of these things, of the textual components that might help, not might, that will help them to select the right information. And it's a strategy they can use, yes, for not wasting time investigating or researching in other sources that are not useful, but focusing on the right ones, okay? So that's the tips I'm giving you for the achievement, select information, all right? Now, the other slide is, we have select information as well. We have more tips, is to locate information that answers the questions. Once they have their answers, okay, and they go and start researching on the internet, in books, or wherever they could do it, or on their phones, okay? Now it's time to locate the information that answers their questions, okay? So make them answer the questions they did beforehand, before looking the information, and that will be great because they're selecting the principle, the main, the focus, okay? Now, the strategies I was talking about right now is to look at the index, the titles and the images, so they can briefly look, okay, is this index helpful? Okay, yes, it is. Let me see if I can find about linguistic diversity right here. Oh, it's speaking about another topic, okay. That web page or that book I am searching is not good for the information I want to look for. And I go to another book or another source, I look for the titles, I look for the images. Does the image give something, an idea about linguistic diversity? Okay, if it does, then I should pay attention to that. The students should put attention to that, get information, summarize it or rewrite it in their own words if they can, okay, etc. Now let's go to the other achievement. It's reads information. Now, what are we going to do here with our students so they can reach this achievement, reads information? Well, first of all, let's put our students, let's give them a text and tell them, okay, this text I'm giving you, or the text that is in the book, or the text I'm giving you the slip of paper of, or the text I'm putting in the screen. This text, what do you think is the purpose of the text? Give them the 3 things that I have told you years ago. Is it for getting information? Is it for fun? For pleasure? Or is it for persuasion? Is this text persuading me to buy a thing? Is this text good to look for information? Is it giving me information? Is this text, the purpose of the text of the reading is for enjoyment, like a poem, a comic strip, etc.? Another thing you can do is to link prior knowledge of the student. How much information does the student have about linguistic diversity? How much information the student has about water crisis, for example, for the next program on the 2022. Another thing they can do is to identify, use a highlighter to identify the frequently used words so they can anticipate the general meaning of the text. Okay, so before we read, let's read it very quickly, start highlighting the words that you see frequently that are repeated in the text. This will give an idea to our students about what the text is about. If they can do it on their own while they are researching, better. It's better that way. But first we have to teach them, okay? First we have to guide them. So let's do an activity in the classroom with the textbook or a copy of another reading and tell them to highlight the frequently used words. And then tell them they can do the same thing when they are alone reading or getting information, so they can anticipate the general meaning of the text. Another thing, another strategy, reading strategy, is to highlight the most important idea. Where can we find the most important idea in any text? Majority of the texts have the main idea in the first sentences. Another authors have on the last sentences. Very few have them in the middle, the main idea. Make them infer information and to reread information. Sometimes like we forget that our students are learning the language and they don't have the ability we do to read English. So sometimes we tell them, okay, open your books and start reading this. Wait a minute. For reading, we have 3 steps. the pre-reading, the reading, during reading, and after reading, okay? Pre-reading, during reading, and after reading. We have the 3 steps. So it's not sending them immediately to read. It's giving them, for example, vocabulary that you might think they might know before reading, okay? Allowing them to give you ideas of what they know about the topic, perhaps a glossary, okay? And then they can start reading, okay? The words that you think they might not know, but they are important to understand the paragraph, you may give them beforehand, okay? That's an advice I'm giving you, all right? Now, my third achievement is to rehearse for a presentation. Prepare notes. The students have to prepare notes and graphic sources to support their presentation. It's not just text, okay? And it's not a text about, in a slide with 200 words. It's a slide with 20 words, with 25 words at tops, not too much. The rest they have to talk, okay? Like we do it right here, okay? So they have to take notes. They can also have, like me, I have here, an index card where I have my notes, because if I forget something, I can quickly read it. See that I wrote here in pen some notes besides the content. So they can remind them to continue their presentation. This is rehearsal. And some graphic or images or pictures that might help them remember the information they have to give. Determine also in the rehearsing the speech register. Remember that we have the formal and informal speech register, okay? So if we're gonna give a presentation to a group, it's the formal speech register, okay? Not like friends and buddies and etc. It's a formal. Adjust volume, rhythm, and clarity. That's another thing. Sometimes I raise more my voice and then I lower it, okay? Because it's part of what do I have to emphasize more in my words? What is more important? Then I use more emphasis in my words, okay? Revise nonverbal language. That is another tip that we have to tell our students for they to achieve the rehearsed presentation. It's different when I start like this. I'm gonna give the presentation and I cross my arms and I start giving the presentation like this. That's nonverbal language. And I'm saying a thing if I cross my hands like this. That's not suitable for a presentation, because what am I giving the idea if I cross my arms like this? Like I'm mad or something, okay? So it's better. This is nonverbal language, okay? And it's very important for our students to know about nonverbal language, okay? Allow space so they can practice their presentation. Even if it's short, 5 minutes, the presentation, not as long as we have it, 40 minutes or 1 hour. Even if it's short, but allow them space so they can practice, so they can rehearse their presentation. And for the last achievement, make the presentation. For the students to achieve this achievement is to create a friendly environment among students, okay? Not to attack themselves, okay? Everyone is learning. Everyone makes mistakes, okay? Everyone. There's no person in the world that doesn't make mistakes, okay? We can help each other to grow. We can help each other to improve the presentation, to improve anything we do, okay? So create a friendly environment, a caring environment, okay? And remember, if we lower the filter, our students will start learning, okay? Because it's not like, I have to protect myself. I have to, no, okay? It's okay if you make mistakes. Remember the 2022 program also says the same, okay? That by making mistakes, we learn, okay? There's an opportunity there. The 2012 program says that also. Make references from research, like add expressions like, I would like to add this information that I found in, for example, the CDC webpage. Use oral and graphic sources, okay? And use note cards to back up. What evidence can you collect of their learning? What evidence? Well, evidence of learning will be the questions from the research they wrote, the notes that they are making about the research, the graphics that they use, and the criteria to select where to get. Where did they get the information? Was it a reliable web page, a book? Okay, where did they get their web page? Now, for the itinerary, okay, because it's almost 11, and I think we have 10 minutes more for my part. Then we'll continue with Ms. Sylvia. Look for information. What can our students do to achieve this goal? Look for information. Well, make a list of the places they want to travel. That's easy. That's an easy one. And students like to, I think students like to travel to get to know different places besides Monterrey. Suggest sources where they can find information. Can they find information in a travel agency? Can they find information in the internet? Can they find information in brochures? Okay. And they start like doing their list and finding the sources. Oh, well, I have a travel agency very near my house. I can go there and ask for a brochure or a catalog. Suggest sources where they can find information. Disregard proposals based on their research. For example, if you put them, you're gonna have 3 days to go anywhere you want. Let's make a list of destinations where you like to travel. And you have 3 days only to spend on that trip. If they want to go to Russia and we're here in Monterrey, will they be able to travel to Russia if they have only 3 days? Or will they able to be like to go to Disney World if they have 3 days? Which is better, going to Russia or going to Disneyland or going to San Antonio? Okay, so they have to disregard, they put up the list of places. And now, according to the timeline that you gave them, the frame timeline that you gave them, they are going to disregard Russia. Well, Russia is too far. We can get there and have fun in 3 days. What about Disneyland or Disney World? Well, it's in Florida or California. Oh, I'm afraid not. But San Antonio is nearer and we can get there in 1 day. So they have to choose San Antonio. Promote participations from others. And let's go on to the other achievement. Compares pros and cons of ideas and proposal. Well, with this, you can do a Venn diagram, okay? What are the advantages and disadvantages of going to, for example, San Antonio? San Antonio, advantages in one circle, disadvantages in another circle for going to San Antonio, or for going to Disney World in Florida. Okay, what are the advantages for going there? Well, I can see Mickey Mouse and I can buy souvenirs for my little brother or my cousins that are younger than me, okay? Well, that's one advantage. But what about disadvantages? Well, probably it's too far. Maybe it's too expensive to get there, the tickets, the entrance tickets, etc. Value, ideas, and the proposals they give in a team. Remember, I would advise for you to do this in teams, okay? So they can talk, so they can learn from each other, okay? So these are some tips I'm giving you. The next one for the itinerary, builds arguments to defend ideas and proposals. Okay, 7 minutes. I have 7 minutes only, and I think I have chats. Let me go to the chats. Okay. We have 7 minutes, all right. Analyze reasons for the proposal and ideas. Analyze, like I was right now analyzing. Is it good to go to, it's too far? Well, but I'm gonna buy souvenirs and I love Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. And that will be a thrill for me going there, okay? So we're analyzing the reasons for the proposal and ideas. Support the reasons with data and information. Now, if I'm telling, okay, San Antonio is about, and they can start like 3-hour drive or 4 or 5-hour drive. For Los Angeles or for Anaheim, California, or for Florida, how many hours? Well, no, I don't think it's hours. I think it's days to get there by car. By plane, it's faster, okay? So they have to analyze all this. Use the connectors to link reasons and data. Analyze the expressions. Are you sure that's a good idea? We really should go there, okay? And then there's the other one that is listen and express pros and cons to come to an agreement, this achievement. Guide students to put emphasis in some words, to check a volume, to recognize emotions in the language, to speak clearly, and foster feedback. Retroalimentación. This is very important. And the evidence, the evidence is for the list of ideas and proposals, notes with data and information. That's the evidence of that they are getting there, they're learning. Okay, notes with data and information and the comparison chart. For our next practice, social practice of the language is read comic strip to discuss cultural expressions, select and revise this comic strip. Okay, we have to identify the topic, purpose, and intended audience. This comic strip, what type of audience is it for? Ask your students. Any comic strip you present, ask your students, who's the intended audience? Ask your students, this comic strip, is it to look for information? Is it to persuade you? Or is it for enjoyment? Okay. What's the topic? Identify the topic of this comic strip. Acknowledge the author. Who's the author? Well, it has in very small letters between the two panels, they have the author. Activate previous knowledge. Do they know the character, Nancy? Do they know Nancy? Or any other comic strip you use? This is an example, but you can use any other comic strip you want. Okay, identify the textual and graphic components and identify how the text is organized. The text is organized in 2 panels. They have textual components. Well, they have speech bubbles. What are the speech bubbles for? Okay, and a thing I did learn, I think I did learn recently is that some comic strips that are more modern, they don't have speech bubbles. They just have a line, but they don't have the speech bubble at all. Those recent cartoons, there are more comic strips. Those comic strips don't have speech bubbles. And I found that very interesting and also helpful to tell our students, to share with our students. Okay, let me get to another one. Interpret the content in comic strips, analyze the function of panels. What is the function of the panels? Well, a panel, the function is, this is one thing, this is another. What is the function of speech bubbles? Well, it's where the characters speak. Anticipate what comes in the next panel. This will be done like this. Do you see Fred here, the dog? So this we have this panel 1, panel 2, and then we cover the 3rd panel. And we ask the students, what do you think is going to happen there? Okay, what do you think is going to happen there? Compare with the ideas. For example, here, this comic strip is talking about sustainable fishing. What is sustainable fishing? Do you think sustainable fishing can lead to bigger and healthier fish? Because the cartoon is speaking about that. But what do you believe? What are your ideas, students, about sustainable fishing? Do you think it's sustainable fishing can lead to healthier and bigger fish? Perhaps healthier, but what about bigger? Okay, so those type of questions you can ask. And finally, exchanges opinion about cultural expressions in a discussion. Guide students so they can identify ideas and assume a posture. I think I'm going to leave this right now because time will end. And I come here, the dominoes I'm gonna give away for you to work. You can use them as well in your classroom. There are 3 sets of dominoes, okay? And you can use them for the early birds. The ones that finish very quickly, you can use them. And why don't you play with this? While the others, the rest of the group finishes, why don't you play with this? That's an idea, but you can use them in any creative way you find, okay? Less than a minute. Remember, we will cut right now Zoom, and the access and the code is in the chat box. Please take into account that it's a different ID number and a different code access. So you can join us in 1 minute more, okay? Because Miss Sylvia is going to work with you right now. I'm going to speak at the end and do the 3 questions for you to win the dominoes, all right? See you soon.
Good morning again, everybody. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here again, sharing in 2nd grade English topic. Okay, let's go. First of all, I recommended when you start your class, please give a motivation to your students. Ask to your student how they feel. How do you feel today? Are you sad? How do you feel? Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you afraid? Oh, congratulations, you're so happy. Great, excellent. You're sad. Why are you sad? You have to ice break with your students. Are you nervous? Why are you so nervous? Okay, great. Please, why are you so nervous? Why are you so worried? Are you angry? Why are you angry? Are you bored? Why are you bored? Are you disgusted? please try to ask to your students, how do they feel? How do they feel? Therefore, are you confused? You can also ask to your student, what sport are you practicing? Are you swimming? Are you playing soccer? What sports do you like it? Basketball, football, baseball? Are you a runner? Okay, you better try how ask to your student how they are feeling. Okay, how they are feeling. Curriculum dosage. This dosage we suggest is a second grade. We suggest in this school circle 2022-2023. Most of you have received the suggest dosage for this school year by Redice and by WhatsApp, the teacher that we have in WhatsApp. Okay. Ask to your students, what kind of table games do they are playing at home? Scrabble, table games, bingo, lottery, okay, video game, Nintendo Switch, etc. Okay, now let's start with the topic of this third period in second grade of secondary school. Okay. We have this slide is in Spanish, but we have in English, okay, the English slide. We will talking about quejas, tabla comparativa, complaints, comparison chart, and mesa redonda round table, okay, round table, okay. Okay. In this slide, this diagram represents an expected learner in a class. All the class has beginning, developing, closing, okay, start. I recommended that you start your English class with a motivation, develop of the class is that them and all the activities to develop to achieve your expected learning. At the end, I suggest with a simple exercises and simple exercises, and you can use a rubric. You can use the 4 English skills like a listening, talking, writing, and reading. In this topic about complaints, what's the social environment learning? Family and community? What's the social practice of the language? Express complaints about product. Achievement, expected learning with your students. Listen to complain about the product. Product, final product, complain. Okay, this slide represents making complaint. Making complaint. I'm sorry. Okay, in this slide, you can use a lot of material that we have in the YouTube. Okay, complaints could be about school, like a student with a teacher, or without tail, complaint without tail, or complaint in a business trouble company. I'm sorry, okay. Okay. You can use transversality with other subjects like math, biology, Spanish, transversality, because in Spanish you have tests, narration, literature, the transversality, you can use tests, comics, newspaper. Remember, I'm sorry. Okay, you can use transversality with math, geometry, square, triangles, with decimal metrical system, and okay, English measurement, yard, inch, gallon, etc. Okay, in this slide, you can evaluate the final complaints with a simple evaluation or with an oral practice exercise or with writing tests and oral exchange, whatever you want it. Or if you have other forms or evaluate this topic about complaint. Okay. The next slide, the next slide. Okay, in this third period, expected learning is review short literary essays, reads and understand ideas, details from literary essays. Other topic is describe and compare cultural aspect and current situation. What's the environment? Academic and ludic. What's the social practice of the language? Read short literary essays to contrast culture aspects. Achievement. Your students' achievement expected learning, I will say again, review short literary essays. Read and understand main ideas and details from literary essays. Describe and compare cultural aspect. At the final, your students can be able to do a comparison chart. Okay, in this slide, I present to you and I recommended literary books. You can select others. There are many books that you can select. And remember that today the students have various interests right now. We're different students that we have right now. And you as a teacher, you can recommend it to the student short story, fabulous essays in English. Okay, you can. Okay, in these slides, I say reads and understand ideas, detailed from literary essays. Okay, second grade, third period. Okay, at the final, your students could be able to describe and compare cultural aspect. You can talk about United States and Mexico. Could be that we compare different aspects, that we have different language, different religion, we eat different food, and the school, different schools, okay, they have different schedule, different subjects, they could be used different outfits, etc. Depends of the cultural aspect and the countries that you are comparing. In this slide is an example that expected learning about cold, by flu, and by coronavirus. What are the symptoms of cold, or what are the symptoms in a flu, or what are the symptoms in coronavirus? This is an idea. You can choose another other comparison charts. The other photo is about sports. The students like sports, and you can give to them an idea about how to compare current topics. Here is the same, the comparison charts, okay, is the final product. Is same to the slide before I show you, and about the symptoms, about sick, about different cold and flu, or about the coronavirus, what we have right now recently passed for this situation around the world. Okay, okay. In this slide, I just give it to you an example, an idea in how to can compare comparison charts. You can choose another one, another topic, another situation, just comparison chart. Is the final product. Your students can be able to do as sentences to contrast a culture aspect of another place with your own culture. If you compare other culture with Mexico, etc. You can ask to your students, they be able to describe and compare current issues. You can evaluate this topic, the comparison charts, with oral expression too. And this slide is an idea to describe and compare cultural aspect, Mexico and United States. Now, okay, now other topic in this third period, expected learner, is about check test with civic and ethical training. Select information, understands general meaning and main ideas. Discuss points of view by participating in a panel discussion. Environment, academic and training. What's the social practice of the language? Discuss points of view by participating in a panel discussion. Achievement. Your students will be able to learn, check tests, civic and ethical training. They will be able to select information, understand general meaning and main ideas, discuss points of view by participating in a panel discussion. What topics we suggest for a panel discussion? There are a lot of topics that you can recommend to your students, like sports, like education, like education at home, education at school, coronavirus, topic about art, music, cinema, about cooking, foods, drinks, about the emotion, about the best friends in secondary school or in your house, in your home. What topic could be, other topic could be online tutors, or topic could be learning English, daily activities they have, about sports, they love sports in this age, leisure activities, what's feelings about traditions. You can have a panel discussion about traditions, about internet, about the bullying, violence, etc. What we recommended about moral values, there are a lot of moral values that you can find in a civic and ethics books, or with the teacher they are in this class. You can talk about honesty, tolerance, liberty, equality, patience, prudence, gratitude, abnegation, respect, responsibility, loyalty, harmony, ambition, courage, modesty, happiness, honor, honesty, empathy, collaboration. There's a lot of topics about values you can recommend there to your student for this panel discussion. Okay, this is a class format. You can modify if you want it. This slide represent a class format, but you can use another one. In this class format, the subject, the grade, the term, the date, and the product that you want to learn to your students, and the step of the class, beginning, development, and closing. That's things that you know. Okay. Other digital resources in English, we have a lot of material in internet that you can recommend there to your students about. There are websites in YouTube, Escape, Google Meet, Clickers. There are a lot of Facebook, and you can find material in English. Also, some strategies that I recommended to you is about didactic material. Another recommendation that I will recommend it is use of the dictionary. It's very important that you use the dictionary. It's very important that you have the audios of the test that you are teaching to your students. You can ask to your student, they give it to you USB, and you can put them in the audios, because listening and speaking, they are very, very important for your students to achievement that your students learn English. It's very important that you have a conceptual map. Where are you going to with your students? Other recommendation is recognition of the student progress. I recommended when you are teaching the 4 English competencies: listening, speaking, writing, and reading. Okay? Another strategy of teaching by having students learning to learn in an autodidactic way. Playing, watching a television, videos, movie, cinema, YouTube, listen to music, watching a comics, playing video games, and other recommendation that you can give to your students. What methodology you can give it to your student? I recommended teaching English audiolingual. It's very important, emphasize the importance of having the audio of the test in your English book. What techniques you can use when you're teaching English? Dialogue, dramatization, read small tests, writing exercise dictation. Teaching resources, I will say again, song, game, use a ludic material, programs, video, magazines, newspaper. Is very important of you making teacher material. We know most of the school, they don't have technologies, you don't have internet. It's very important you make didactic material. It's very important the use of dictionary because you can interested to your student and you can say to your student, English is very simple. English, it is no difficult. You know English. You speak English, but you didn't know. I say to your students, me llamo Silvia. Silvia. Es en español, pero en inglés es lo mismo. My name is Sylvia. My name is Sylvia. But I can pronounce different. Silvia, Sylvia. It's the same. Similar words, Spanish, you can engage to your students to love English. How? You can say to your students, there are a lot of similar words because in the clothes, blouse, jacket, pants, shirt, tennis. The language, how do they form? With words, with vocabulary. Where is the vocabulary? The vocabulary is a dictionary. You can gesticulate a lot of words they use. About transportation, car, bicycle, motorcycle. Listen to the radio. Listen to your pronunciation. Okay, listen. Okay, remember, English is very simple. And some exercise that you can do in your classroom, each class that improve vocabulary with your students. How? You can say, close your eyes. Just listen to me. Listen to me and imagine the word car, bicycle. Don't repeat it. Just imagine. You be an actor. Run, motorcycle. Train, helicopter, computer, phone, cell phone, radio, television, video game, foods. What foods do you like it? Hamburgers, hot dog, spaghetti, vegetables, tomatoes, lemons, tea, coffee. Imagine coffee, tea, sugar, mayonnaise. Exercise like that, your students will improve your vocabulary in each class. There are 100, there are a million words that are very similar in pronunciation. Communication, transportation, dictation, electronics, park, hotel. In the school, they can say Español, Spanish, biology, arts, physical education, sports. They're very similar to sports. Tennis, football, baseball, basketball, etc. And your students can improve your vocabulary if they go to the internet in home, like a homework. You can say to your students, or homework, they're very funny, they're very, you will love it, your homework, the homework, English homework, because improve the vocabulary. There are 100 million words that you can find that are similar to Spanish. Remember, English is very, very simple. English is very, very simple. You know English. Well, I would like to say a lot of things about other strategies, but I recommend it. You will have another ones. And it was a pleasure, was a pleasure to talk to you. Have a nice day, have a nice afternoon, and have a nice weekend with your family. And the material of this material, first grade, second grade, and third grade, it will be in Redice. And also third grade, it will be in Redice too. Okay, any question, please let it know in a Redice and we will answer to you. Thanks a lot for your attention. Cesar, hello, Cesar. I see you in this slide, in this photo. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a nice afternoon.
Okay, guys. Before we finish this, we have to give you the code, the QR code. Let me put it right there. Do you see the QR code? Yes? So you can scan it and put your attendance list. Remember that you will have until the last day of March to see the video. Well, the video will be on the YouTube Redice in Nuevo León for a long time, but you will have only until the end of this month to put your attendance that you have seen this this meeting, okay? Only until the last day of March, all right? And now for the, let me put the chat box right here. Where's my chat box? Okay. To do the giveaway. Yay! The giveaway of these, the dominoes of animals. So you see the image and the word of the animals. Okay, I will have 3 questions because there are 3 sets. Okay, are you ready? Everyone's on the chat box right now. So they can, the first one to answer correctly gets this prize right here. Okay. These questions are from the 2022 program that we are going to have right now. Okay, the first one. Question number 1. In what formative field does English belong to, according to the 2022 program? Yes, Daisy Bautista, you're the winner. Thank you, Daisy. Let me write it down right here. Wait a minute. Daisy Bautista, the first winner of today's showcase. Daisy Bautista. Thank you, it's languages. Now, the second prize, it's the same, but it's another one, another set, okay? The second question will be, this is hard one, eh? This is a hard one, but I know you know it because we are always into the new stuff, okay? How many contents does the 2022 program have for English? I'm waiting your answers. Okay, the first answer was 15 and the second one answer was 14. The correct answer is 14. So Sonia Lorena Cantu Rodriguez, you're the winner. Yay! Let me write it down. Sonia Lorena. Sonia Lorena.
Cantú Rodríguez.
Ah, sí, Cantu Rodríguez. Yay, Sonia. And the last one. Okay, the third question will be, what methodology is best suits the field of languages? Yes, Anna G. Learning based on project-based learning. Okay, Ana G. Is there a question about the attendance list? No tiene la opción de asignatura de inglés. Let me check. Lorena. Lorena, there's a question right here. Dice que la encuesta para el registro de asistencia no tiene la opción de asignatura de inglés. They're gonna ask right now. Wait a minute. Bear with us 1 minute, please, 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 so we can answer and everybody has the right answer for the opción
Bertita,
de
su nombre
inglés.
completo.
Qué raro, ¿verdad? You can come for your prices any day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. right here in Coordinación de Secundarias, which is now, which was Técnico de Secundarias. It's in Secondary 37, ¿cómo se llama la secundaria aquí? Rafael Cubillas. That's where we are. Okay. We're correcting. Thank you for telling us this, that there's no option for asignatura de inglés. We will put it in right now. In 5 minutes, you will have the option for English, so you can check it. Avenida San Bernabé, número 100, Colonia Nueva Morelos, is the address for today's winners. I thank you very much in behalf of our team, of English team, and behalf of our boss, Miss Judy Aleida Rodriguez, and Miss Daria Elizondo. Thank you very much. And I really appreciate the input you gave right now for the game. Thank you and bye-bye.